That shit up, Tony. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, mostly ladies, okay, to unFEMiliar.
Hey, y'all.
Hello. Got some guests today. We're real excited to be back for episode 2.
Namaste, my niggas. Namaste.
Peace. Namaste, my niggas.
Peace.
All right. So yeah, it's your girl Nay, and I'm here with Tony Love.
Hi.
Okay, and we've got Jerry in the building with me today.
Peace, everybody.
And we also have Brittany Per-Year. She's the owner. She's a master esthetician. She's the owner of the Skin Den. Okay, based out of Detroit. Thank you so much for joining us today, Britt.
You said based out of Detroit?
Yes. And then Black esthetician. She owns her own business called the Skin Den, and she's based out of Detroit.
Now, look, I don't know a whole lot about Detroit, but what I do know is it's so cold in the D.
Yes, because it is.
Okay.
It's a little cold right now. It's supposed to be hot, and it's a little chilly out here.
Dang, chilly at the end of May ain't right.
We take whatever we can get. You give us a little bit of warm weather, we gonna take it, turn up, barbecue, do what we need to do, and then be in the house when it's cold.
Right. I'm not mad at that. Hey, Detroit, we're happy to have you here.
Warm weather in Detroit is a gift and a curse, honey. Listen.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Boy.
A lot of people in Detroit, actually. I don't know why that is, but I spent my time there. Just a little background information for the viewers. Brittany is my cousin. So I lived with her for a little bit out there, and I actually fell in love with the city. You want to have a good ass time. You want to be around your people that look like you. You want to be around a lot of the arts, view a lot of go places where there's a lot of history. Detroit is actually the place to be. So don't let people deter you from that. Detroit's a really good city, really good people as well.
Yes.
We're a little lit.
Understatement. Okay.
Okay, and I hope Miss Brittany is here to give us a couple of tips. You said esthetician, she owns her own business, right? So
I do facials to trap music, actually.
Yes, okay. Get your self-love in and get your trap gangster rap in at the same time.
Everybody that comes see me leave a little bit more ghetto than they came in with, just a little bit of ratchet.
Okay. All right. Well, Tony, what you want to get into first? What you think we should open it up with?
We definitely have to we got to kind of start with what's going on right now, right? George Floyd, Minnesota, everything that's going on right now. I want to start first by saying something that I have been really afraid to admit for a really long time, just because I felt like it was wrong of me. And, I feel like now it was a little bit of an unfamiliar mindset to be in, right? We talk a lot about being desensitized to these events because they happen so often. And I found myself not necessarily in that boat, but I'm not as shocked anymore. Am I still hurt? Absolutely. But I'm not as shocked anymore when I see them. And I feel like that's an unfamiliar territory to be in. And to me, when I realized it, it really shows the impact that the media has. And it's a strange feeling because you're still really hurt. You still feel real strong about it, but there's no shock. There wasn't a gasp for me. I was just like, okay.
Well, we just saw it. We just saw it with Ahmaud Arbery, right? We just saw it. And and this is something that I haven't seen too many people touch on, but we have all been desensitized. There's no way that we're not desensitized or numb to it because of the way that we have to look at it on our timeline. You know, everybody's on the phone, and news spreads so quickly these days that, you know, you're scrolling, you see a black man being murdered, and then you scroll and there's a meme, and then you scroll and then there's, you know, there's just all kinds of shit mixed in with that type of tragedy, which causes trauma, right? And we just saw this happen not too long ago with Ahmaud Arbery, and we didn't riot because I feel like, you know, things were left a little bit open, like to some people. There were questions, and it wasn't a police officer, and I understand that, but you know, it was not about to happen again in such short amount of time without this type of reaction. I mean, it's too close back to back, and I think people thought that maybe we weren't going to lead in that direction anymore.
I mean,
yeah.
What do you, Stevie, what's your take?
I think that
but
Whoever wants to speak first is
so
fine.
I wasn't I get what you're saying as far as being desensitized. Watching this one, I was definitely,
You felt it.
I felt this one. And I don't know what it was different about this one compared to, you know, Ahmaud Arbery and, you know, all of them. And even talking about it to other people, you know, I said to myself, and I had to call myself, I was like, man, this is the first time where I really seen somebody really not thought. And I was like, you know what? This is not. You know, I had to think to myself when the police officer shot that man with his kids and his girl in the car, you know, directly in the car, you know, and that's on tape, you know, and we didn't, people angry little protests, but it wasn't like this. So I'm trying to figure out, I want to know
what makes this different?
Yeah, it's hard to really just say, all right, what is it that make this different? Because it's nothing. It's exactly the same thing. But I think at this point, I don't feel like Black people have had enough, because I don't really feel like anything is being accomplished right now. You know, stuff is getting burnt up, and I'm all actually for that. I'm not going to sit here and say that, if I was able and I didn't have, you know, some responsibilities, then I would have been there. I would have been there. I would have been looting just because of the hell of it, just because, you know, I'm hurt and I'm messed up by it. You know what I'm saying? And being a Black man, you live in a system. It's messed up. So you want to. It's a reason. It's only thing. It's just because. It's a reason to lash out. Reason to be like, look, you know, we don't like y'all shit. So we're gonna fuck it up. But at the end of the day, it doesn't accomplish anything. It doesn't get us anywhere. You know. So the question that we have to start asking is, what is it going to take? And, you know, I hate to say it, you know, it's going to take for some other people to die besides Black people. You know, nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to say that, you know, but only way we're going to see a real change for us Black people is for that to happen. You know, people out there protesting with guns and not with rocks, you know, actually shooting back. You know, they might be shooting rubber pellets back, but they shooting back, you know, and not just taking it, you know, and fighting. So I feel like until something like that, we start seeing that actually drastic change to where other countries have to step into America, because it's normally the other way around. Because this doesn't happen in America where it's constant chaos. You know, that's normally happening in those third world countries where actually not even third world countries, just other countries where they overturn the government. You know, we don't normally overturn the government. We've never overturned our government. You know, only time we've had a government and people kind of disagreement is during the Civil War. And since then, we haven't had that. You know, it's always been some type of peace amongst the people. But if this continues, you know, we might have to have other countries come in and help the people. But is that going to happen? I don't know. But it's something that looking like it now.
Right. Britt, what's your take on it?
Well, with this incident and the Ahmaud Arbery, it was different for me because I feel like you said earlier, we get the news so fast, and usually we get the news with footage. With Ahmaud Arbery, that footage came way after the news. So I think that once the news came, it was like, okay, yeah, we're mad. And when the footage came, we didn't really know what we were looking at because I actually stumbled across the footage on a mistake. I didn't realize till I watched him be ambushed and murdered what I was looking at. And by that time, it was too late for me to cut it off or anything. I was stunned that somebody had actually followed him to be and knew that he was going to potentially be harmed and or murdered. So when it happened recently with George Floyd, I was just like, the Breonna Taylor thing had happened. I was reading about that. And then this happened. And then I'm like, no, nobody had the audacity to literally do this in broad daylight. And this man absolutely did nothing. Like, it was just so many holes in the story. And it was just like, oh, well, we thought, or he could have, or even if he did, it was just like, what? Like, this happened. And then to know that 3 other officers stood there and watched it. And they helped. They facilitated in helping with the act because the news surveillance shows them attacking him in the car.
Mm-hmm. And having them look out, you know what I mean? Like stand outside of that door and look around, you know, making sure nobody
sure nobody had seen it. They weren't really vigilant enough to know, okay, you're being filmed. Right. And then as far as us basically overthrowing the government, I literally, right before I came on here, I was watching something with a guy, and he basically stated nothing is going to change because we don't have people that, like he said, is willing to die for the change. Like, until we instill the fear that they have placed in our hearts, and like, I have a Black son, I have a Black husband, I am worried. Like, I'm worried, especially for my husband. And until they have to feel the same way when their loved ones leave the house, until they have to feel the same fear when they claim they fear us so much, until we instill that real fear into them, nothing is going to happen. Like, we can burn shit all we want to, but what are we going to do something? And like he stated, the military, they have a plan for war, and you have soldiers willing to die. You have militant people really ready to die for religious belief. When it comes to terrorism, you have police officers ready to die in the line of duty, and we not ready to die. So we really not ready to be violent. We really not ready to do what we need to do. Like, our leaders before us were ready to die, lay their lives on the line. We don't have that now. We lost that.
And Malcolm X did say he would always, you know, tell his followers, you know what I'm saying, you know, I know they're trying to kill me. You know, he would always speak to, you know, if he goes, he's ready for that. So do you guys, all three of you guys, do you guys feel like us as Black people, some of us just haven't had enough, or do you feel like white individuals or people of other, you know, races are now kind of, because these events all happened, they seemingly came out, right? They may have not all happened back to back, but they seemingly came out. Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, you know, George Floyd, they all came out literally within minutes, kind of what seems like days of each other, because we're all in quarantine. We don't have nothing else to do but watch the fucking internet and watch goddamn news and read CNN alerts, you know what I'm saying? So they all seem to have come in within, you know, a week span, couple days span. So do you feel like people of other races are also kind of being woken up by that fact? Because it's continuously now, it's not just put in our face, because obviously, you know, we feel so deeply about it because those are our people, but now it's being pushed into the faces.
No, because they see that shit every day. They just don't acknowledge it's happening because they don't have to, because it ain't happening to them. They see that shit every day. It has nothing to do with us being on quarantine, having more time. It has nothing to do with us having access to the internet. This shit has been going on for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah, Black people have just been putting the pressure on them. that's why people, it seems like more, different ethnicities are stepping up to make it seem like they for us or whatever. That's not the
We're
case.
holding people accountable.
We've been putting the pressure on. We like, all right, so if you really, really with us, you need to say that. We wasn't really going at people like that, especially not other race, and especially not white people. You know what I'm saying? You might have little white friends that you was cool with, but you wasn't putting the press on them. Like, niggas, you really with me? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's your real feelings? Like,
it's pick a side now.
Yeah, now it's pick a side. And at first it was like, okay, yeah, you white and you my friend, that's cool, I love you and you for you. But now it's like, no, you really got to decide, like, are you going to ride for us, or, you know what I'm saying, are you going to pick them? And
either you going to get down or lay down at this point, because it's a lot of people, too, where, well, my friend, she's never said anything out the way. Well, no, she probably never said anything derogatory or degrading to your face or anything, but she is things that she is, they don't have to say or do anything. Racism isn't because somebody is bad. Like, that's the whole thing. You have to basically acknowledge your privilege and acknowledge you're a benefactor because your skin is lighter than mine. Right. Period. You're never going to be treated the way I'm treated because you are not me. You're not black. And when they start to realize that, I think that's when it seeps in that, damn, I probably did participate in some racist activity or thought processes. And it's because their parents aren't. A lot of my white friends were telling me that they just never had the conversation about race. They were just like, we never seen color. But it's not enough for you not to see color anymore.
Right. It's not. You have to kind of understand those things. Like, you have to really kind of feel those things on a different.
That shit is a cop. I'm sorry. I didn't really just have a whole bunch of white friends growing up. But, I feel like if you're growing up in America, that's a cop. There's no way you are born in America and you're going to sit here and say you don't see color. It's no way. You see it every day. When you go to Burger King, when you go to 7-Eleven, we don't live in a country where everybody is white.
Exactly.
There are places that is like that. When you go to Africa, everybody's black. They don't see color unless you white. Everybody's black.
And they would like it different.
Yeah.
Tony, you need to turn up your volume. I can't hear you enough for some reason.
Oh no. I don't know why. I'm up.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, also, Erica Badu had put out a tweet and was telling all of us to stand down, all of the protesters and the rioters to stand down, because we are not prepared right now to go into something like somebody else losing their life, other races losing their life, because we're not prepared. I mean, and we were saying how the generations prior to us were ready to die for it, life on the line, get down or lay down type shit. And our generations now, I don't think that they know how to do anything. Everything's done on the phone, instant, everything's quick. So I just feel like that creates shortcuts in life that people have now gotten used to taking. And there are privileges that we all have experienced, as far as taking the easy way to do something. So now nobody's working hard, and I feel like that's why it's hard for people to band together. Attention spans are short. It's just hard for people to band together and think of a real plan. And I also think that every time we get somebody that stands up for us, they are taken away from us. So you think about our Black leaders that are murdered, and every time we get a couple steps forward, we're 10 steps back again.
Yeah. I like the fact that you said that, because I know we're talking about generation and why we're not that generation that is, why we're not ready for that is because I feel like we don't have the leaders in place.
Right.
We don't have people to follow. Back then they had people to follow, even if it just wasn't MLK, it was other people that were actually in place that they had to follow, active, that they can follow, and that were doing stuff that actually had real morals behind it. And the only people that we have like that is entertainers that really don't, that are really fake. So that's why we get what we have right now.
It's like they gave us a little bitty corner at the end of the table to actually hear bits and pieces of the conversation, and we happy about it. And that's what our entertainers, the people who do have voices, that they're so busy trying to keep up their image or not offend something or someone, that they're not strong enough to lead us. We don't have any generals, so we can't go to war for real, because you need generals to lead the soldiers. So if you don't got the generals, where y'all going?
And that's the thing. I feel like the reason why that is the case is because of what the white people have done. They've done that.
Yeah.
On purpose. Yeah. They've purposely done that.
It's the plan.
So, yeah.
It's the plan. And now look at where we're at in disorder, and there's no organization. And I do want to see shit up in fire and people getting whatever it is that they want to get. I do want to see that, and I understand it, and I feel that, but I do not think it's productive, like you said. And that's not enough. That's not, all it is just giving other races fuel to label us even more, because they're blaming it all on us, you know. Even though there's all races out there looting and rioting as well.
And we won't even, it's crazy because I see all these nonprofits for change, for marginalized people of color. And I see all these people who have the effectiveness to be generals in this war. And we won't even fund their cause, but we will make these corporations billions to take a picture on Instagram.
Yep.
Just to feel like we cool and part of the in crowd. We will give them billions, but won't give a fucking dollar to people who are actually for us. We won't even buy a grocery store in our neighborhoods before we go and buy a fucking Rolex to flaunt on Instagram.
From companies that don't support us, Gucci. And
don't give a damn,
Tony.
Yeah, Louis. Actually, there's a scandal going on in the I believe it's the LVMH fashion house. That's the brand that owns Louis Vuitton, Fenty, these things, right? Fenty, I want to highlight because that's owned by Rihanna. Shout out to Ree, you know, that's my girl, okay? So, full-blown Navy over here. But I think it's their scandal right now is they just released their campaign for their spring purse line, right? And of course, it's a campaign with all white women. There are no black people, of fucking course, in this particular campaign. And they have not made any statements in what's going on right now with worlds, what's going on with America, what's going on in America and the different riots around the world. There was a influencer. I'm not going to give him no free promo because fuck him. So there's that. There's an influencer, a man, who I really don't know what he influences or what he does, but he basically made a statement that in so many words that Americans are always so outraged when these European fashion houses don't react to what is going on, like to the racial things that happen here. And he feels as though we are kind of one-sided and one-minded because those things don't go on over there. It's an American issue. And I felt like he showed his hand. You are so uneducated. Also, let me remind you that this man that is saying this is a Filipino man born in Manila, which makes him a minority. And you are so
color, but we black. I just want to also make that clear. Some people of color ain't standing with us too. So
also fat.
Yeah.
That's also that. And that is exactly, you know, and that's another conversation. It's like, you're also a minority who don't stand with other minorities because you do not believe that you are, because these people of European descent have made you feel so accustomed and so welcome that you don't even know what they're capable of. So you label this as an American issue, when in actuality, this is racism and systematic racism as well. Is a worldwide issue. It has been happening everywhere. London, France, everywhere. Even in South Africa, with the white South Africans and the black South Africans. So let me be very clear. Racism is not an American thing. And how ignorant of you to say that. That's why his fucking haircut was dusty.
The hair's uneven.
Now the black shadow and them highlights was trash. But he was also, obviously a gay man. But
don't get man's haircut.
What was that? What's that TV show where they be taking the kids into jail?
You're dusty. Your hair uneven.
Wait, no, your ass you don't, nigga. Shit.
Cause you look dusty. That is exactly Corny the Clown. Corny the Clown. I'm not giving you Instagram because nigga, you gotta pay me. Bitch, you gotta pay me. You want me to put your ass on here. I don't give a fuck how many people watching this.
Okay.
Pay me.
Talk about it.
No free promo in this part. But, I just felt like, to all of you guys' point, that particular mindset that because, it's not happening to you, other people need to actually, other things need to happen to be a big catalyst of change. And I feel like that's a point that a lot of people don't want to say out loud because it seems to be very harsh. A lot of people are afraid. Let me not say they don't want to say it. They're afraid to say it out loud because it seems harsh. But it's the reality, right?
And that's why I told all of my friends of no color that if they needed to understand where we were coming from and they really cared, they should read this book and it'll explain everything in layman's terms. So just go ahead and read the book and it's going to tell you how your ass been racist and how you just been sitting on the fence and ain't cool.
What's the name of the book?
Yes.
It's called White Fragility. You guys probably heard of it before. It's by Robert DiAngelo, and then Michael Eric Dyson does the foreword.
I love Michael Eric Dyson.
I do too. And this is the Get Me Gotcha. Robin happens to be a white woman.
Oh, the author is a white woman.
Yes, she is.
Okay, how's that?
So, right. So they can't say, oh, this black. No, she's white.
And that's that on that.
So she's telling all her white counterparts, this is what y'all be doing.
I don't know why in 2020, people don't mind making other people feel uncomfortable about anything. In fact, people want to be expressive and be themselves. I mean, I do think that people are worried about offending sensitive people. I do think there are sensitive people in the crowd that pick things to be sensitive about. But for the most part, people are able to literally change, or express that they don't identify with the gender that they were assigned. People are just living more open and free. But you cannot educate the people that need to be educated. So yes, you could be living as a person of no color or a person of color. You could be an ally to the Black community, but just because you are, it doesn't mean you're doing your job as an ally unless you're educating the people around you, and you have to be willing to be uncomfortable to do so. That's a lot to ask. I know it is, because people are so comfortable in not offending. But that's the real key, is like someone white writing a book like White Fragility. I think that's important.
And that's why she did it. She did it because she said that it was a hard conversation for her to have with her counterparts, and it was really hard for her to actually accept the fact that she was contributing to racism in America without really realizing it. But she said she got her some mentors and she started studying, and you have this amazing gem of a book because of it.
Well, definitely.
It's got to be from white people to white people for it to be impactful enough.
And that's exactly what she said. And she said she wrote the book for white people, like you said, and for people of color to actually be able to explain what it is that we're trying to get across, regardless to offending them or not.
Yeah.
Like, and I made a comment earlier, and I said that, you know, the only way things will be able to change is if, you know, people start dying and not be Black people. You know, with a book like that, I really would take that back, because I feel like if the people that were really in power, you know, if they had thoughts like her and not like their ancestors, then we would not be in this situation.
She talked about that in the book. She talks about basically policymakers, decision makers, and how they create these policies for people that they never see, they never interact with, that aren't at the table to say, nope, that's wrong because that's going to affect such and such down the street. And she said, even if it's somebody at that table that doesn't agree with it, they're going to eventually go along with it because eventually the law is going to benefit them. So they're not going to say anything to take that benefit and privilege away from themselves.
And then you got to think too, that's their job too. So when you get your job, you sitting at the meetings at your job, regardless of what job it is. You sitting at the meetings in your job and they talking about what we going forward is, what the things that we want to do. You're not about to sit up there and disagree every time.
Right.
You're not going to do that. So if that's your job, and your job is to govern the United States, then you're going to go with the type of thing you're going to deal with. You're going to do what they say do.
Are you guys familiar with the I think they call themselves like hackers? Let me not say they shit.
Anonymous.
On them people.
Yes, look, let me get it right.
First of all, Anonymous can go ahead and wipe out a bitch credit back.
Okay, my shit good. Don't do that. Don't live.
Wipe out my bad shit. Keep my good shit.
My child, because I don't want them in my shit. Okay. I'm fucking with them. Are y'all familiar with that group, Anonymous?
I listen to them all the time, and that's why when we be over here, when you be visiting, and then I be all ghetto and ratchet, and then I be all on my intellectual shit, and you be looking crazy at me and shit, and I just be like, bitch, I'm gonna just shut up because I don't got time.
It's real quick with her. It's like, bitch, what? We was just talking about love and hip hop, bitch. How you go? It's very quick, but yes. So they pulled up on Trump after he got elected, right? They also pulled the receipts of the man that was working under him, that he hired under him after he got elected, who was indicted for all of those child pornography rings and things of that nature. They pulled up on that while he was going through his trial, also with receipts. It was like that was sending me, because it was like parentheses, receipts, and a long link to all the shit to prove that they were right. And I just thought that was such a key. But they actually made a statement about the Black Lives Matter movement and what's all going on with George Floyd. And they basically stated that they were with us. They are hacktivists, and they are, this is the cause that they're for, and they won't stop at anything to bring down the people and the jurisdictions and the police departments that are involved in dirty crimes related to this. These people are black market type. I don't know if you guys watched The Blacklist. It's a show about this guy who's never won the FBI's most wanted list. But it's a good ass show. But that's these people. That's the type of people we're dealing with when it comes to Anonymous. And also, technology is a very large thing. Okay, let's not.
I can see right now.
A large thing, and everything that we do runs off of technology. There's a kernel, a bit of information embedded in everything. It's just about how technologically advanced you are to piece them together. And that's this group. So I thought that was a big thing for them to say that they were 100% committed to the cause, because they feel like it's unjust and unfair.
Well, they've been spreading awareness for unjust acts against people of color. I can't think of his name. The high schooler that was found rolled up in the mat. They're the ones that actually.
That high school, I can't remember his name either. He was from Baltimore, but I definitely want to state his name.
That actually exposed why it was a cover-up. One of the kids that he got into a fight with or altercation with dad is with the FBI. Basically, they were saying that they covered it up. They have receipts. That's why his family wanted the autopsy. They would not give him the autopsy. Then when they did, they found out his body was stuffed with paper, they were saying.
Stuff. Yeah, his organs were removed.
Yeah.
His name is
Lamar
Kendrick Johnson.
Lamar Johnson. Yeah, that's his name. I remember that in Atlanta, right?
Yeah,
Georgia.
In Georgia.
Yeah.
Woo. And I googled his story because I wanted to actually state his name, and the first link I clicked on actually
was his autopsy picture. Yeah.
Yeah, I can look at that. Ooh. It's very graphic.
It is so graphic, and it's unbelievable the story that they came up with to match that picture. And it's unbelievable that no one could explain why they took all his organs out of his body. And, you know, there's just been so many. I mean, the hashtag, too many hashtags. It's too many hashtags.
And just think of the ones that never got a hashtag. Just think of the ones we don't know about.
I don't want to think about it. And I mean, you have to, but I mean.
And see, that's where the desensitization comes in of it, right? You don't want to think about it because of the feelings that it invokes, right? Like, that's the first time I ever seen that. I never seen that before. And we talking about a child. Like, let's be clear. We talking about
at school. They found him in
where we send our kids for now. What a lot of parents are realizing for now, majority of the time, because now everybody's at home, so they got their kids all day, every day, 24/7, right? So it's a little rough. It was honestly from someone who doesn't have kids. I have several nieces and nephews. I have cousin nephews. And it is hard because, you know, to Britt's standpoint, you know, she has a black son, she has a black husband. I have black nephews. I have black cousins. I have a black brother. You know what I'm saying? I have a black father. So it's rough. It's rough, but I also want to I want to speak also about I feel like it's a low-key fear that black women have as well. Like, my fear of it is not as high because I'm a woman, but at the end of the day, we've seen Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, you know what I'm saying? Corrin Gaines.
To anybody. Yeah.
Corrin, yep, following the law at that. It really can happen to any of us. So I even feel like them keep continuing to perpetuate just black men is also trying to desensitize us black women, because we ride for them. We fight for them hard.
It's not just a war on with the police and a war on black men or black lives. These doctors are killing black women at a crazy rate right now.
Black women mortality rate when giving birth is exceptionally higher than anywhere else in the world.
Postpartum care is lacking and lackluster, and it's causing the death of so many black women.
That is also another thing. I actually had to make a friend of mine. He wasn't aware of that. He has a good amount of he has two black sisters, one of which has two children. So, but he wasn't fully aware of how bad it was. And so, Jerry, are you familiar with that? Like, have you heard that? Has anybody in your family ever talked about it, or?
No, I'm not familiar with that. Not at all.
Yeah, black women, when we go to the hospital, they usually, if it is a white doctor or another colored doctor, they pay us less attention. They don't take our concerns into consideration, whether it be I'm going in because I have heart palpitation, I got a scar on my foot, I'm having a baby. It primarily is because of lack of effort on a doctor's point to really assist their person that they're helping in front of them. And especially when giving birth, the mortality rates are higher in African-American women or women of color in America than it is in any other country in the world. And a lot of I just feel like that's a big thing. It's a big thing that tip for anybody that's watching. Anytime a doctor says no, when you ask them to do something and they say no to you, it's important to state that you would like for them to note it in your chart. Because what will happen is if anything happens to you, they have to go back and read the full transcript of your chart. Now, if you don't say it, they really don't have to put it. It's a legal loophole. They can argue that they didn't have to put it because you didn't explicitly request it. Exactly. So
or
it's
they
very
can say that you didn't complain of that when you're there. So therefore, it's your word against theirs. And then if you are no longer here, you cannot defend yourself. So
exactly loophole, because whoever is your power of attorney can't defend on your behalf at that time either, because you were willing and able, you were well bodied, so you could speak for yourself. So that doesn't matter. Whatever they think doesn't matter.
Yeah, and Black organs in general, Black everything is in high demand on a lot of in a lot of places for a lot of people. You know, there was a lot of younger Black girls in the DC area that went missing. There was like a list of, I think it was 20 something girls, maybe 20 to 40 girls. It was a lot of girls. And it was all in a short period of time. It was at the same time where the girl Jenkins, Shanika Jenkins,
yeah,
where she was found, and there was speculation about, you know, her being found at that in that freezer, but she was close. The hotel was close to an organ donating place. I don't know. I just think that, you know, studies want to be done on us, and they want to, you know, take what we got.
I don't know the name of it. I was trying to look it up, but I can't seem to find it for some reason. But I don't know if you guys heard about it. It was a Black lady who went on to spend a night at someone's house.
The sleepover with the 7 white women, and she just was dead. And then they found her brutalized and beaten, and nobody had to give a statement. Nobody knew what happened.
Supposedly they say she fell, she drunk, she was drunk and she fell off of the balcony or whatever.
But nobody called 911.
And there's been nothing?
No.
Yeah, they just, so on the story I read that, yeah, so there was a sleepover. They're trying to say, and the whole story is a movie, is something like off of Get Out, you know, where they're saying that she was, you know, they found marijuana in her bag and everyone was drinking, of course, and last everyone seen her, they seen her to go smoke, and supposedly they found her, she fell over off the balcony. They found her in the morning. Once everyone woke up, they found her in the morning dead, and the cause of death was she fell over the balcony.
Yeah, so her name was, let me see. I have Tamila Hasford. A mother of 5 died during an adult slumber party at a home in Cook County, Georgia.
That's it.
Yeah, so her name was Tamala Horsford.
Yeah.
And I keep like really breaking a podcast for the names, but it's very, very important for me to state them and to state them correctly. Because I feel like this is my own personal gotcha. Please feel free to disagree if you feel, you know, not in agreement. But I feel like mispronouncing your name or purposely getting it wrong or not even taking the time to think about it and forgetting or something is
or
the
ask
biggest.
For proper pronunciation.
Yes, it is the biggest sign of disrespect, because you usually state it and they read it first and then you state it. So they've already gotten it twice in the first 30 seconds. So I feel like that's the first thing you do when you're trying to check a bitch. Hi, my name's Tiffany. Hi, what's your name? Georgia? Your name's Georgia, or is it? It's Tiffany. Okay, nice to meet you, Shanae. Nice to meet you. Like it's a way to disrespect you, and I don't fuck with disrespect. So, Tamila Horsford is her name, and yeah, that's what it says. I did not know about that. Actually, now I'm gonna read up on it once we're done here. But I wasn't familiar with that at all. I've never heard about that until today.
Yeah,
wow.
I wasn't familiar with that story at all either. But it does not surprise me, just like probably nothing really could right now. But I do think that Black women have a lot more capabilities that are almost unexplainable, like giving birth to like an albino child, you know, or a child with blue eyes and blonde hair, like fair skin. It's happened, and I just feel that they want. It just makes complete sense to me. I know that kind of is a little bit of a conspiracy theory, but I'm into them a little bit. You know what I mean? Because it makes sense.
Is a conspiracy theory to people who don't want you to really like look into things. Then you're a conspiracy theorist and everything goes. But even with the Black women delivering and the mortality rate being so high, I personally experienced the loss from that. My little sister passed March 24th after giving birth to my niece March 13th. She was 30 years old. She was perfectly healthy. She had no underlying health conditions. She complained about being in pain. The last time I talked to her,
oh my gosh.
Basically, she told me she was in pain, and I said, you need to call your doctor as soon as possible. And explained to them, she said, well, he's going to call me tomorrow and he's going to video chat me because he doesn't want the baby coming in because this is when the beginning of the COVID epidemic. And I said, well, you're in pain. You need to go see someone. He needs to check you. He needs to make sure that you aren't, you know, hemorrhaging. And she was like, yeah, I know, I'm going to call. And she had complained about pain, and it's so messed up. My mom said she was taking her to the hospital that next morning, but the next morning never came for her. My nephew called and told her the baby, he said, well, he called the police first, and he said that he basically was waking her up because she said she was going to go lay down because the baby was crying, and he couldn't wake her up.
Wow.
So that's how we lost my sister. And the ME could only tell us that it was complications and they don't know what it was. And I was scared because when I had gave birth to my son, an orderly actually is the reason why I possibly did not hemorrhage. He came in and checked me, and he pushed, if you guys don't have children or have never experienced childbirth, they come in, they push on your stomach to make sure your uterus is contracting and to make sure that you aren't hemorrhaging, basically. And when he pushed, it was just pools of blood coming out. Coming to find out, I ended up having polyps on my uterus. And that orderly basically went and got a doctor. It was not my doctor. And this man literally stuck his hand all the way up into my uterus and gave me a cervical scrape because that's how serious it was. They kicked everybody out of the room. My husband was crying. He didn't know what was going to happen. And they basically did an ultrasound and was like, if we can't get all of these polyps, then she's going to have to have emergency surgery because she's going to hemorrhage if we don't get them. And I believe that's what happened to my little sister, but it's something that's underlying and you'll only know if you check.
Wow.
So
that's definitely information people need to hear and know. You know, I haven't had any children, so it's good to know. I'm 30.
And they tell you, like, pain after childbirth is normal. She had a son. She knew that this pain was different, and she complained about this pregnancy being so rough and her being in pain, and she's not here anymore. Like, she didn't even get to bond with my niece. My niece will never know her mom. But I tell people all the time, you know what pain is bad pain, and you know what pain is, okay, I'm good, I can get through this. And a lot of doctors dismiss that as, oh, you just had a child, your body's went, no, G, this shit hurt, you gotta fix this. Like, do something.
Yeah. And a lot of times, unfortunately, Black women create like a high tolerance for pain and don't go and complain about things because they think that they can work through it, or they try to anyways because, damn, I gotta spend time convincing you that I actually have these symptoms.
Just forget it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I've been to, first of all, I'd suggest that you go and see a Black doctor. if possible. I mean, if at all possible, for everything, because I've been to a dermatologist and this dermatologist completely dismissed me. I was very young, and she basically told me to scrub my skin harder. You know what I mean? Like,
wise dermatologists, not all of them, just some.
They are very. I haven't met a Black dermatologist yet, so you know, I went to 2.
I'm giving you a referral. I have 2.
They tell people to use Cetaphil, and that is like that is devil talk.
Not for this skin.
Let's talk about it because, you know, so for those of you who are unfamiliar with me and who I am, career is IT. I'm an IT professional by day. And by night, I do makeup artistry. I'm a makeup enthusiast, whatever you would like to call it. Sometimes I charge, sometimes I don't, which is why I don't.
Yeah, so I know y'all getting into Tony beat tonight. Okay.
Oh, let me get you.
Because she was putting on, I'm like, I gotta put on makeup. She's like, something I'm going to do it.
Ain't been nowhere in a long time, girl. Get into it. Okay. So look, yeah, no. So yeah, I actually have been having some skin issues. I have psoriasis, which is like an underlying skin condition. And when I first went to a dermatologist, she was a woman of color. I will say that she was not a Black woman. She was a woman of color. However, she prescribed me, the first person, she prescribed me Cetaphil. And then I went to an Asian doctor who are also supposed to, for melanated skin, Asian doctors are supposed to be right after the African American doctors, right? He told me that my issues were an act of God, and he didn't know that if they would go away. So I said to fuck him because you sound insane. And I went and found somebody else.
Lord.
I thought these black marks gonna go away. What he say? I
said that's some Japanese talk.
Ain't that crazy? I said these black marks gonna go away. He gonna say, I don't know, maybe with God. I said, fuck you, I'm leaving. I told my mother, and actually that's my mom's dermatologist. My mom referred me to him, and I got home, and Britt, you already know Stephanie, okay? I got home, and I said, hey, I told your dermatologist, fuck you, because he sounded crazy, and she cussed me out so bad.
She only cussed his ass out, talking about something that's an act from God. What the fuck?
She was pissed that I showed my ass. She cussed me out so bad. You think of whatever Black cuss out you done had, that was the one I got. How the fuck dare you go in there and you show your motherfucking ass like I ain't did. Oh God, right. It was just it's so funny. But you know, I found 2 Black dermatologists. They are on the harbor, so they're a little further, but definitely worth it.
Yeah, no, worth the drive. Also, Black therapists, Black everything.
Yeah. Black therapists.
Hey, my therapist though, I'm not even gonna lie. He a cool ass white dude. I be in there cussing everything. He be in there like me. I go to therapy and then me and my husband goes. And one day we went. It was tensions was high. He sat down. I wasn't saying nothing. Usually I'm very vocal. And he was like, "What the fuck you do to her?" I said, "You need to talk to him because he about to get fucked up in here because this shit is going for bad. Like, we don't leave here with a resolution. It's a wrap."
But I think that's enough. But you know what? I want to say this. White people, where we're at, where me, Shay, Jerry, where we're all at, like that, slim to none.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
That's a gym. That's a gym. You find you a gym like that. And I know a few of them.
Dr. Greg tell my husband, like, yeah, you was on bullshit. That was some fucked up shit. That was some bullshit. I'm like, yes, please tell him, Dr. Greg, cause
not a lot of white people in certain areas like that. And when you come across them, just like Shay said, that's a gem. You keep them. You know what I'm saying? It's not a lot of those. And I feel like, to go back into how great Detroit is, because I do love Detroit. It's my second home, okay? That is why Detroit is, why I feel like it's such a great city, because everybody, the love that they have for their city and the people that come from their city kind of overbears everything else. And I feel like in times like this, the love that you have for, if they're in your city, it doesn't matter what race, you know what I'm saying? The love that you have for your people, the people that, you know, breathe and eat like you, not the people that look like you, but breathe and do regular human things like you. feel the love that you have for those people kind of overweigh everything else. And that's when you get situations like destroying the structures and riots and, you know what I'm saying, you know. Also, I want to keep in mind that a lot of people feel like, a lot of uneducated people feel like this shit is brand new for some reason, like this has never happened before.
Girl, they don't know shit about shit, because Black Wall Street happened.
The Boston Tea Party was a fucking riot over tea tax. Like, mint tea.
They riot over football and hockey.
They don't let their team lose the World Series, honey. They tearing some shit up, okay?
I don't even want to address ignorant shit because yes, we're gonna address it and call it out and move on, because that pisses me off really bad. Oh my God. Like, there's literally a video I'm watching today, and she's like, here are all the clips of y'all writing with the dates and everything. Like, just a little slideshow of a history event of fucking what?
You want to talk about white people?
No, white people caused the whole fucking riot, Black Wall Street, because they didn't appreciate the fact that Black people decided to get the shit on their own and build wealth within their own community that they didn't fucking want, and they went and killed over 300 Black people, mothers, children, animals,
and
say men.
That the Black Wall Street, the idea of us owning our own and having our own is the only peaceful way that we could have ever done anything, overcame anything.
And they knew that. And they took that away.
So now you get what you get. You know what I mean? You get what you get. But we need to be organized and prepared and have somebody that, you know, can guide them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We need more generals. We can't have a group of soldiers with no general to lead them.
Hashtag that.
Jerry, what's your comments? Come on, I need to hear more from you. You know, this
or some.
Nah, I'm definitely chiming in. I'm listening to y'all. No, I'm totally agreeing with everything what y'all saying. It's definitely need generals. Like, go back to what I said earlier. You know, we need the leaders. We don't have any leaders. We don't have anybody to physically, you know, that's actually, you know, that we can relate to, you know, because I read on Marcus Garvey, and I read on, you know, Stokely Carmichael, people like that, but they're not here now. There's nobody like that.
And nobody following Future punk ass nowhere.
Right.
Let's talk about Future. Let's segue real quick. I know we was in the thick of it, but let's segue. Okay, let's talk about Future and his web of baby mamas. We
ain't following him nowhere, into the future, into the living room, into the kitchen, around the corner.
These bitches following his ass right into the bedroom, ain't it? Right on.
They following his ass right into damn paternity court, because that's where they all end up.
This man said, he tweeted, he's so toxic. He tweeted and said, hold on, I screenshotted it. He said, you can't treat ugly bitches like pretty bitches. Mama state. Like, first of all, Future, you know what I mean? You got so many.
And you have kids by these ugly bitches. So is your daughter's ugly?
Well, here's the thing, right? Future's baby is not really ugly. They're not ugly. They fine, actually. It's the fact that he don't know who he did or didn't fuck with without a condom. Like, the most recent one that just took him to court, she proved her paternity, and she took him to court for child support. She only requested $400 a month. Well, because he couldn't remember that he fucked her without a condom, and he did not know that the baby was his, because it was also a line in one of his fucking songs, which is another way the lawyer was able to prove that he really didn't know. Fucking genius. He was ordered to pay the bitch 4 or 5 G's a month instead of the original 400 she requested. That is what happens. You hold your mule, okay? A little bit too much dip on your chip, nigga. this your baby. Do what you need to do and mind your motherfucking business. Because now you, instead of 400, your ass gotta pay 4 G's.
But and there's supposedly another baby that will be the ghetto twin to that baby, and was the friend of that girl, and she told her you should just take him, and she redacted her paternity suit because she saw the bullshit that she went through. So she was just like, fuck it, I'm not even about to take this nigga through court.
So what are we talking about? You said we talking about Future. What are we talking about Future? That
He just toxic.
What about Future are we talking about?
I was just saying that you were saying we didn't have no leaders, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, because ain't nobody following Future nowhere, okay? And then
nobody following
baby mama.
Are like loving Future, and let me not just say men. There are bitches on my time like, oh, that new Future just dropped, and I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, all right, I wasn't trying to listen to the Future, but I'm listening.
It's breaking.
I'm listening.
It's breaking.
I was fucking with the Future for a minute. I'm not even gonna hold you, because you're gonna. If a bitch pull my tweets up from history, you're gonna see a lot of shit. So let me just cop up to my shit right now. You're gonna see me like, oh, I'm about to try this new Future. And then he said a certain line, I don't remember the song, but the line was, yeah, it was like something along the lines of, yeah, I'll piss on a bitch. Okay, what in the R. Kelly am I now listening to? Because now this is taking a weird ass turn, and I just, at that point, I deleted it. I didn't play any more of it.
I couldn't understand what he's saying unless he on the song with somebody else, so I don't even really listen to him.
I did have to Google the lyrics.
Yeah, he definitely said that, but it was, I think the line had to be something before, like, I'm rich, so I can piss on a bitch. Like, it was along those lines.
He said damn near. What he said was damn near piss on bitches. It's definitely a little bit crossing the line a little bit. Like, you got a little carried away, my nigga. But the album is cranks, but it cranks when you're in the mood for something like get money and be toxic. Like, fuck these hoes, get money. You gotta be in that type of mindset. If you're on some, like, anything else trying to be good, that album is not going to influence you. Nothing good.
No, nothing that Future talks about is anything influence that
positive.
No, nothing positive. Like, that's what people as adults like have to understand about music and about that's why music people cannot be our leaders, because what they do is not.
They don't got shit in their head.
It's not reality. You know what I'm saying?
What you said, Brittany?
They ain't got shit in their head. He right. You just gotta listen to the music and go. You don't believe none of that shit.
You just gotta take music as what it is, and that's it. Like, these motherfuckers ain't, no.
Definitely not leaders.
No, because they are leading and shit. Fucking bitches raw, getting AIDS, being on drugs, doing all the shit they saying they doing, and they not really even doing that shit. You're gonna be fucked up.
And that's the thing about Future though. But Future is doing what he's saying he's doing. That's why I asked, what are we talking about Future? Because Future don't cut no carbs. He telling you, he out there slutting. He tell you, he fucking pills. He popping pills, he fucking rich hoes, and he fucking regular hoes. He say average hoes.
That nigga say, I fuck the baddest bitch. I fuck an average bitch. I'm on some savage shit.
Yes.
I said, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I feel you, my nigga, but you are doing too much. Like, you are just promoting so much.
And it's fucked up because I'm going to listen to that because that's dope as fuck. Like,
that shit sounds good.
Not the way to go.
That shit cranky.
Okay.
That shit should crank it.
It's produced really well. I do want to speak on the fact that is cool though. That is the cool thing, right? To be that nigga and have all the money to where you got so much money you can't treat bitches any which way you want to treat them. That's your really reality. Like, I that's the cool thing. That shit is wild to me.
And that's the thing. That's why, and that's no reason why I want to talk about, like, what are we talking about? Because this man is, despite what he doing, he living his life. That man is living. Is
he raising those kids? That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
he got so many.
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he probably not going to all the birthdays, and he probably not sitting there helping with math and reading. You hear me? But them kids they gonna be taken care of.
Let me ask you a question. Y'all see Russell taking care of Lil Future, huh? Russell Wilson.
Right.
What you think of that?
Stepdaddy's winning.
think of it, yeah, I feel like he wanted to be with her. That's her child. So yeah, that's part of his duty.
Do you think that it would but as Future, do you feel like?
I mean, as Future, as a father, he's some shit. It ain't no question. So it's no way around that. So yeah, as Russell, as a father, as a man, then yeah, like that's what he's supposed to do. Like I'm not gonna sit here. I don't agree with none of Future fucking views. Yeah, I listen to his music when I want to be fucking ignorant. But his views, and as a man, no, I would not look up to him. Hell no. Hell no. But that's what I'm saying. I know how to be an adult and decode the music. You know, I'm not just trying to be like him. That's what the young kids don't understand. You know, they just listen to it trying to be like him. You can listen to it, be your own person.
Notice,
yeah, and just like it.
Only other people are mad at Russell Wilson being a father to Future's son. Future is looking like that nigga really raising my son. Hell yeah.
That nigga doing a good ass job.
Trivia, like what? That's what I'm saying. My son fuck around being in the NFL. It's fine. Why would he be mad? Like
being raised right. This bitch got my son a good nigga. I'm legit. I could be out here really on some fucking
that's weak. I'm not for that at all. That shit is weak. But nonetheless, like yeah, like of course you're gonna be on that.
Man.
Like he's not mad. You do not see that man arguing. You be seeing them hoes in the shade room, them niggas on the shade room, mad that they deadbeats, mad that they baby mamas calling them. Sierra not calling Future for shit.
Hell no.
Not a damn.
That nigga is so happy Russell told her leave that shit alone. Future like, I like that nigga. He raising my son. She ain't calling me. He is happy.
This nigga Future posted a birthday post to Lil Future on Twitter. It was just one little sentence like, happy birthday, Lil Future, my little twin. Just one sentence, no picture, no Instagram, no story. Just one sentence. It was misspelled a little bit. Like, it was like, damn, nigga.
Somebody reminded him that it was his son's birthday. I bet.
Exactly. Facts.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. Like,
not that little nigga's birthday today, right? They reminded.
Exactly. You call your son today? Like, why?
Oh, why?
Why? No.
You see the baby mama post?
That nigga probably said, which one?
He had a whole parade of baby mama posts, and they was so mediocre and disrespectful as fuck. But them hoes be letting him do that shit because he couldn't pull that shit with a regular for real nigga. I have my brothers pull up to your house type bitch. He's not gonna do that shit with a bitch like that. He do that shit for thirsty, needy bitches.
Yes, I think once you get to a level of money, that's the only type of bitches you gonna meet.
That's it.
That's it. And all them same women date the whole little crew of the rappers. Yeah. There's about 6 to 10 girls I feel like that been in rotation for all the rappers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're all fucking the same bitch.
Yeah.
And then you get the random porn star that get fucked with a broken condom and get a baby.
And
Drake then call her ass Flute.
What you mean call her?
He going through it. He a baby daddy now. He going through it.
You know what? I just don't want to hear y'all niggas talk shit about y'all baby mothers. And since we're on this baby mother topic, I think we should talk about rappers' BMs. Because there's a lot of fuckery going on with this shit. Tony, that was on my list for last week.
Which ones? Let's start with it.
Well, first of all, let's start out with Kyle's sister.
Oh my God. Ari is toxic as fuck. She is the she's fucking female Future. She toxic as fuck.
This bitch be on the internet posting about, whoa, this nigga, I don't need dick for another 30 days. This nigga wore me out. Like, you have you have a son. You are tweeting anything and you don't have any repercussions on it. I don't understand.
I'm indifferent about Ari. I'm indifferent about Ari because Ari's beautiful as fuck, 1. 2, she's very curt, but she's always been curt about her shit since she was.
He looked like a fucking cartoon character.
They all pretty as fuck. All these bitches look the same. They are little mini cutout copies of the same bitch. She just got a cartoon
doll. Yeah, she just got a nose. Like she looked. You put the right bitch on the ass, some titties, a small waist. Give her some NutriBurst. Get that bitch some lashes. That's 25 millimeters. Get that bitch some makeup, and get that bitch a 26-inch weave, and you got the same bitch running around.
But did you say NutriBurst?
Yes, them hoes always got ISO-T and NutriBurst.
Herbal
That's part of that kit.
Flat tummy tea. Hashtag Nova ad.
Okay, because
Nova girl.
Oh, and get them some Fashion Nova. And you got the same bitch over and over again. Ain't shit special about these hoes. And they ain't got shit in their heads. The shit that they post on the internet show you they ain't got shit in their head.
I feel like the shit they post on the internet is basically only because it makes them money. They're not gonna tell you what they got in their head because niggas don't want to. They don't care about that.
Just dumbed in a motherfucker. Before they was famous, they was just posting dumb shit, and you just like, bitches, you serious?
My thing is, I think these younger, I had the best of both worlds, right? Where I played outside and I learned the internet pretty early on, and I just don't feel that everything needs to be put online. Everything step-by-step relationship, every single relationship, all that shit is like something that these younger generations, these girls are, mid-20s or younger pretty much. And I feel like they're not thinking about their future right now. They're thinking about right now. And that's a big thing, So.
I don't feel like they're thinking about their future because I feel like we live in a microwave generation. They want everything right now immediately. Kids don't work for shit. I see it all the time. And it doesn't matter where it is. Kids want everything right now when they say it because they believe it to be so. They believe
that 13-year-old that live in that house that I over there.
You said what happened?
That little 13-year-old that I own. Mm-hmm.
Oh, your daughter? Brittany has a 13-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old son. So okay. She has range in the age of kids. So she's experiencing both stages at the same time. My sister is very similar. She has a 5-year-old son, fun fact. Brittany's son Deuce and my nephew Kai are a day apart. So, and their children, Mari's 11 and London's 13. So yeah, they're, not too far apart either. So my sister is experiencing the same thing that Brittany's experiencing. And I experienced it for the first time ever because I don't live with them yesterday. And I was tired, honey, when I say I was over it. One just know everything. And that means the little one, not the older one. Okay? Right. The older one just want to argue with your ass about nothing. Fucking nothing. I was tired. I don't know how y'all do with it every day. But I feel for you. I feel for you.
That age, though, 13 is one of those instant that they used to that. And it's in real life, in real time. Things can be that instant to you right now. Anyways. So the fact that, anything that's not, I really enjoy anything that's not really instant. It's nostalgic for me a little bit of work. They
don't know nothing about nostalgia, honey. They don't know nothing about it. My daughter doesn't understand how I embrace my childhood. My childhood was lit. Like I had so much fun, like some of the best memories. And then her and her friends, she'll ask her friends to come over. I said, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Now, mind you, we have a pool. So it's summertime. I'm thinking, you want your friends to come over? We have a theater. I'm like, okay, y'all can kick back. Y'all can watch, movies. Y'all can have a movie night. Y'all can use the projector. Y'all can get in the pool. They literally come over and I'll walk in the room. It'll be 90 degrees outside. I'll walk in the room and they all in different parts of the room or on different parts of the bed. And they're all on their phones.
That's exactly what it's like when you go out nowadays. You go out to the bar, everybody on their phone, or to the club, they're not dancing. Like, everybody's just kind of standing around, wallflowers. Nobody's taking the risk to be so.
And I told her, like, enjoy this time, be in the moment, like, make memories. You can still have your phone to make those memories, but you guys have a unique advantage that we didn't have. I only have memories from Polaroids that I used to have to beg my mom, not even Polaroids, like just disposable cameras. Used to have to beg my mom, can you please take me to CVS and can you please pay for my disposables? Like, I'm looking for $8 to get double so I can give my friend copies of the pictures we took at the party and praying that they coming out right.
Oh, bitch, I'm about to grab a picture of us. Shay, me and you.
No.
Me and Shay have those. I have those in my house. Yeah, no, I feel you, Brittany. It's the same way. I feel it's the same thing. When
I took their phones for 24 hours. One of her little friends was about to die. I don't know what the hell was so important within that 24 hours, but sis act like the world was going in. Like, oh my God, what am I going to do? You don't sit your little ass down somewhere and go downstairs to find something to do.
Right. Right. It's so much to do. Like, I don't know. The kids these days are just so different. You already know.
You have like siblings or like a little or like cousins or something that you're close to?
I didn't hear you.
Does he have like little cousins or younger siblings?
That's what I was gonna say. So I have a daughter. So I have a 3-year-old daughter.
Oh, how sweet. Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I was talking about kids and whatnot. So I was around. I've actually been able to live with kids that were around 11 and 12. Well, they would be 13 and 14 now. And, you know what I'm saying, my daughter. So that's what I'm saying. With kids that age, like your daughter, you have to definitely tell them what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't allow them to make choices and no. But that's crazy because my 3-year-old daughter, though, like we talk about like kids not wanting to go out and do stuff. You know, my 3-year-old daughter tells me all the time, like, I want to go camping. You know, like she wants to go to the beach. You know, and she's 3 years old. So I don't know what is, and she watches, you know, she's on her phone. She's not on social media, of course. You know, she's on social media, but, you know, she does YouTube and all those things like that. So I don't know if it's social. I guess it's social media that's doing this to these kids. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird, but they definitely don't have what I feel like. I feel like a lot of them don't have ambition. Like they don't have no drive. You know, like when I was a kid, when I was
They're entitled.
It's work ethic, right?
Work ethic, most definitely too.
It is because yesterday I was getting my hair done. My sister does my braids, and I was getting my braids done. And my niece was there on the couch. My nephew, you know, and my sister was asking me to do stuff that I just didn't want to do. They weren't hard. I just didn't want to do them because I was being lazy. So I asked my niece, I said, hey, you know what I'm saying? You try to make some money. She dead ass looked from her iPhone 11 because she got a better iPhone than me, okay? Because I'm not paying for that. Right. So she looked up and was like, no, I don't need money. I said, you don't need what? So I don't need money. I said, how are you going to get what you want? I mean, I'm just going to ask. I have everything I want.
Wow. Yeah.
And she might right now.
And you know what? That earlier in the day, we said something about, my nephew was going through Christmas list. I don't know, because I think little kids think Christmas is back to back. So when they experience something, he just experienced a birthday. So he experienced a gift. So he's thinking, oh, I'm about to tell her what I want next time, you know? My niece said to me earlier in the day, I don't want anything. I have everything that I want. I'm completely content. And it's crazy because my niece she's very calm kid. She's very quiet. She don't ask for much. She don't do much. She's very respectful. She's great in school. So she doesn't give a lot of issues. But when I realized that she didn't know the value of $1, which is essentially what I realized when she was like, I don't need any money. I was like, oh, she's been too comfortable.
And that's what I was saying earlier. Right. Well, that's what
partially our fault, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, no, honestly, I feel like that is your fault and your sister's fault, honestly, because I'm big on that. Like, If you ask my 3-year-old daughter right now, how you gonna get some money? She'll tell you. I'm gonna have an ice cream truck, and I'm gonna sell you some ice cream. Like right now, I call her right now, and she'll tell you that. And, you know,
because I told my sister that when she said that, I said, "Girl, my sister is a single mom, and 0 of her baby daddies are active in their kids' life at the moment. Unfortunately, there is one that does what he can. He is incarcerated." But there's one who does absolutely nothing. He doesn't even call. Okay. So when I tell you my sister's a single mom, she is a single mother, and the only people she has helping her is me, who lives 30 to 40 minutes away, and my mom, who is older. Okay. So I will give that take. So it's a little bit harder for her to do things, right? It's harder for me to get to my niece every day because I live an hour away from her. You know what I'm saying? But
it's
Brittany,
really hard to raise kids.
I do what I can, but at the end of the day, she still spends an extreme amount of time with me, and I am responsible for her method and her, the way that she thinks about certain things. Because she's exposed to me for majority of the time that she's exposed to other people. So I agree with you. I don't disagree. I do agree that it's partially me, myself, and my sister's fault for not kind of teaching her or just giving her without teaching her what's supposed to. Now, I can only speak for myself.
Right. And then there's no shade. I don't think
No, I didn't mean it in that way either. Like
I didn't think it that way because I felt that way before you even said it. So don't even
remind her all the time because my kids gotta work, even that little 5-year-old. Oh, you want what you want? Well, what you gonna do to get it? Because at this point, bruh, you need to put in some work. But my daughter, she does have good sense of money, how to make money.
London a hustler. Don't let her
literally
London real fucking nice. London done hustled me out of plenty of motherfucking Cold Stone visits, Tim Horton visits. Y'all are not familiar with Tim Horton, but Tim Horton is like it's like the Taco Bell and fucking KFC together. Like Tim Horton is like a fucking Dunkin' Donuts and a Cold Stone together. That's exactly what it is. London little ass done swindled me out of plenty of Tim Horton and Cold Stone visits I didn't even want to fucking go to. Okay? I lied. London a hustler. London know how to get her.
Yeah, London, like she figured out like I'm gonna get money. She figured out she knew how to bake like really early on. So one day she was just like, "Mom, can you help me?" I'm like, "What are you doing?" She like, I got 56 orders. I'm like, "Excuse me?" She's like, 56 orders for what? And what the hell you selling? And she's like, "Oh, remember those brownies I had made at school?" I'm like, "Yeah." She was like, "Well, I took some to my friends and they liked them. So now I'm charging them $2 and they gave me the money for them. So can we go to the store and buy my brownies because I'm selling them at school?" She was literally selling brownies at school. She had a whole little operation. She's in 7th grade. Her best friend is in 8th grade. So they had different lunches. She would sell only at 7th grade lunch. She would not sell to the 6th graders. You had to give her the money the day before to secure your order. And her 8th grade friend would like do the orders for 8th grade. And then I said, "Are y'all even supposed to be doing that at school?" She was like, "Well, the principals and stuff ain't found out yet, but the security guards inside of the lunchroom, I get them free brownies and they let me sell my brownies without saying nothing so I don't get in trouble."
London's a hustler. Big up to my little cousin London. She's a hustler. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Brit trying to play shit down.
Right.
It's all mentality.
Full circle. That's exactly the age difference is what we were really trying to get to and the generational difference between the girls now and how we were and how we was raised. And it is good to instill that work ethic. So I do think when we were talking about these baby mothers, right, I do think that some of them have taken really good opportunities and created a business and are generating money. That I like to see Black girls winning starting businesses and owning things. So if you know, but you know, Meek Mill and all these other people have made tweets and comments about, well, you asking a nigga for a Birkin bag, you know what I'm saying? Why not ask him to give you the 5 or 6 racks to invest in you? That would be if I, you know, had that opportunity, that would probably be the first thing I would ask for if I'm gonna ask for anything.
That's what I'm saying.
Not me.
You're going to ask for something, and you're going to ask, oh, can you buy me this? What?
But see, the whole thing is a simple ass nigga is gonna buy that bag before he give you that $5,000 in your hand. You know what I'm saying? So a smart bitch, because here you can pawn the Birkin for up to 90% of its value if it's real. So for me, I get that Birkin, go pawn that bitch, go and start whatever I need to start, go get that bitch out of pawn, and then go repawn that bitch to get whatever else I need to get. And you just keep on making money off of what he done bought you, because a lot of these simple ass niggas would rather buy you a bag than see you progress in life, because then you don't need him.
That's a hustle. And I feel like that's the other side of the hustle that Brittany said that people, even myself, didn't even think of. I didn't even think of taking that bag, using what I needed for my deposit or down payment or whatever I wanted to start, making the money that I needed, recoup on it, go back to buy the bag, repawn it. You're literally just recycling your own money.
A lot of times you can't pawn things for 90% of the value. So
you could do that shit out here. It's a white lady that do that shit at our jeweler. She pawn her Birkin.
You gotta have the plug for that. I ain't even gonna hold you, because I done been to the pawn a few times, and I know
but that's just like
keep you out.
That's just like, I got a watch, right? So the watch is nothing done to it, right? So I didn't go. Most people can't pawn the shit because they don't have the correct certificates for it, or they didn't ghettoed it out. Like them bust down watches and shit like that. No, you're not taking that to pawn that shit for 90% of its value. But if you have a regular, like, let's just say Rolex, and it's in pristine condition, you can pawn that bitch. Yeah. You can pawn it. You can pawn that bitch easy. Like, it's collateral. Like I told my homegirl, she had a dude. He had money. She was content on getting Chanel clothes. She was getting shoes. She was getting red bottomed up. I said, bitch, them red, you better get some shit with appreciation value. This shit ain't got shit. Like, she like, well, I already got a Rolex. So, bitch, have him buy you an Audemars. Like, get you some shit that you can have if he leave your ass in the fucking dust.
That's what I'm saying. Jewelry, you can always, fine jewelry, you can always sell jewelry. And I ain't tell y'all to go out here and be working niggas, but I mean, I know that's a hustle that females got. That's really, I mean, aside
if you
from
do it right.
From getting Birkin bags and getting jewelry, bitches just getting babies and getting lifetime money. You feel me? I'm talk about that. You feel me? But that's a real hustle. You know?
That is a real hustle, and that's why we're talking about rappers, baby mamas, because that's a thing.
Yes.
That is a fucking thing, man. That's why I wanted to address it, because not only are some of these young girls looking crazy, some of them look good where they are doing the businesses and trying to, you know, flip it around for themselves. But just, I'd see a lot of them getting dogged out, arguing, putting all their business up on Instagram stories, having babies. Then this man going to have babies with other women. Now you beefing with them women. I don't want to see that anymore.
Like, so this is what I've seen. I feel like, and it's crazy, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong or not, I feel like a lot of the women now, especially girls that have that look, you know, they able to maintain their body with, you know, the flat stomach, the breast, and the pretty face, if you know what I'm saying, pull that off super, super pretty. It seems like their only motive is to do that. It's to find a nigga that got a bag and have a baby out of it. Like, it ain't even to just, have a life with him. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you might, like him, and yeah, but for the most part, it's like, yeah, I gotta keep looking pretty, because, and I'm saying that, I'm gonna use an example. I used to follow this girl that she lived in South Africa, and she only did fitness. And I followed her for about 3 years. And now she's on the Wild 'N Out show. And I was wondering, how did all of a sudden she come from South Africa just doing fitness And now all of a sudden she just has this look as one of the, like a hip hop girl.
The Instagram girls.
Yeah, like she looks like an Instagram girl. And
the new age video vixens, because we don't have
I guess a new age video, and to me it's like, how's that always why is that so big on, why so many girls want to do that?
Time out. This look that all the girls have, and the white girls have it too. The white girls have a standard.
Oh, they ain't about to be left behind. They ain't about to be left behind.
They out here blackfishing niggas and shit too. We get into that.
Blackfishing, yeah.
They niggas, okay? Yes, they not being left behind. Not us.
They are black fishing niggas, but we gonna save that for next week or something. But my point is, like, this specific look and makeup routine and lashes, and Tony, maybe you can talk about it with us, and Brittany, because you do skin and beauty and makeup, it's borderline the drag look, where these men that were dressing in drag back in the day were doing these dramatic looks and long lashes and wigs.
Studio 64 looks, club kids, honey.
No, it's not even that. This is the get me gotcha.
I love that.
This is the whole thing. You have women who where makeup was cool to have a natural girl, right? So you have the Aaliyahs, you have like, oh yeah, she natural, she just really pretty, right? So then they went away. So then you have a girl that, let's just say, comes in the industry, and she's not as camera nice, or she's not as aesthetically pleasing to the naked eye. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring a makeup artist in. And this makeup artist is going to basically specialize in contouring and constructing a look for you of what we want you to look like. So
and
then
real quick, Brittany, on that, if you're not familiar with contouring, it is the application of deeper makeup than your actual skin tone to make you look a little bit more chiseled and pristine.
Bone
if you're not,
so you creating an illusion that you have a bone structure that you don't really have. So then you have those makeup artists that come in and do that. So this girl who wasn't all that aesthetically pleasing starts to get this attention because now she has this makeup. So now she needs it every day. Like, she needs it all the time. And then this is her brand now. That's why you have so many makeup artists that are men that specialize in drag makeup because they do it the best.
Oh, yeah.
Who's better to make you look more of a woman or make you look different than somebody who has to change their whole bone structure to actually go and look like a Beyonce or somebody else, a female impersonator. So that's where you get that from. These women here, especially in Detroit, they look completely different.
So listen, not only that, you have the makeup, the wigs, right? The contouring, the lashes, the extremes of that, and then we throw in how these women are altering their entire body.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked my friend in LA, he lives in LA, and we always talk about women and how can you almost even tell the difference between a natural born woman, cis woman, and trans women at this point? Like, how can you tell? And if you're so comfortable with all this fake ass, like, I mean, what's the difference then? Is none of it real?
Same. That's how I feel. I feel like they one and the same. Like, at the end of the day, cosmetic surgery, and I'm not against cosmetic surgery. I'm actually absolutely for it. If that's what you want to do, then whoop, whoop, do you, boo. Enhance, fix, knit, tuck, do whatever you feel like you need to do. But I just feel like cosmetic surgery used to be taboo, especially in our community, and it's not anymore. It's the thing to do. So, and more people have access to these doctors and the funds to actually do it. And now that's what they're doing.
I feel like I don't disagree with Brittany at all. I feel like she's right. Who better to make you look like a woman than a person who impersonates a woman? You know what I'm saying? I feel like you can't tell from a regular eye unless you are trained to know what that looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like myself, I can spot the difference because I know what to look for. Regular people off the street, they don't really know what to look for. But that's another reason why I don't hard contour a lot of the people that I work on, because I feel like makeup is really an enhancer. It's not a complete erasure of what you look like. But so many people use it as such. And don't get me wrong. I like that you used the term cis woman, because a lot of people don't understand what the cis part of that means. Cisgendered male or cisgendered woman. A lot of people who are not familiar with that community do not understand the cis and what that means. That just means with someone who identifies with the sex they were birthed with. That just means
assigned at birth.
This is something term straight. So I am happy that you did that, but I think that
Absolutely.
you just gotta keep it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta listen. If you're a man and you're not familiar, you've never been, you don't have no sisters, you don't know nothing about nothing. You gotta ask questions. You have to dig deep. And I'm not saying that people that are trans won't tell you, because I have trans friends. So very much believe me when I say I'm an ally of the community, okay? Yeah. But you definitely have to ask questions. They'll definitely tell you, but you're going to have to get to know the person that you're dealing with. And I think that's sometimes where a lot of men fail.
Look, all I'm saying is, in this situation where, you know, this trend of what everybody looks like and how it's all looking the same, it's kind of blending into everybody looks the same. And when I say everybody, I'm not just talking about cis natural born women looking like natural born women.
One person.
Right.
Everybody's one person.
It's all the same, bitch.
Everybody want to look like Kim Kardashian. They think that's the model.
No, the hell they don't, because the Kardashians now trying to look like Beyonce, and it's fucking weird.
The Kardashians model is black women. Let's be very clear. All these other people of other races, and some even of our own race, are trying to go ahead and look like Kylie, Kim K, Chloe, or whoever the fuck else, right? When what they're figuring out, when they go to their doctor, what they want to look like is they bring in pictures of black women. Okay?
Well, yeah,
you know that. Everybody looks like a goddamn ant. You look like an ant from the ant life. You know, they had the big ass long. You look like an ant. You look crazy. Your thighs don't match your ass, and it's just weird. It's very weird.
Well, look, you know, I don't want to keep everybody too long. You want to do a closing topic tonight, or what? I might got one thing spicy up in the chamber.
Bring it out.
Hold on. Huh. I had so many topics. I wanted to talk about this nigga here.
Dr. Umar!
He geeks me so hard, Lord, I love him.
Umar was saying today, that nigga is insane. What he was talking about? Dr. Umar is crazy, and Dr. Umar only fuck with white bitches.
Yo, that is what? yo.
Y'all know he don't never make no videos inside. Niggas was like, this nigga homeless, like he live at the park, and he always recorded from the park, Lord. I'm like, oh my God. He always looking around. It'd be 6 o'clock in the morning, like, what is you doing, Dr. Umar?
Mommy ass, okay?
Hey, his pro-black ass only really fuck with white girls, for real?
Yes, he only fucks with white bitches.
How do we know that?
Because all of the bitches that be posting him be white. I ain't seen a black bitch post his pictures ever. Have you, Jerry?
I ain't seen none of his bitches.
So I remember him in a scandal with some strippers or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Some supposedly, some strippers. I don't remember where it was, but it was black strippers. But I don't know. I would like to imagine he probably do mess with white women. I don't want to say it's probably only white women, but yeah, he probably do mess with white women. I wouldn't. I don't know. He's too much of a clown for me. Like those are the people that. Yeah.
Is he a hotep? If he's dating white women too, right?
He's a hotep who fucks white women, and it's so weird. Because I'm like,
took a few down through there. He do. I agree with Jerry. He got clown tendencies.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna take away from the man having a lot of knowledge. The man he has a lot of knowledge. I mean,
he read a few books in his lifetime, but he's
still exactly. You know what I'm saying? You read books, okay, that's nice. That's cool, but that still don't take away that you're a clown.
Where do you live? Where do you live, Dr. Umar? Okay, nah. I just
fucking weak. I did not know niggas was saying he was homeless because he was always homeless.
That makes so much sense now, because that nigga is either on the Breakfast Club starting Ruckus. That's Uncle Ruckus. Nah.
That is Uncle Dr. Umar's Uncle Ruckus. He's an Uncle Ruckus ass.
Not Uncle Ruckus. Why would I say Uncle Ruckus? Uncle Ruckus is, I think he just, Dr. Umar is the nigga off of Don't Be a Menace. I know Don't Be a Menace.
Yes, my beautiful black Nubian queen.
Yeah, that's Dr. Umar right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, shut up, nigga. You not really, you know what I'm saying?
Uncle Ruckus of our generation right now would be Ben Carson, I think. If I had to give Uncle Ruckus to somebody, I'm giving it to Ben Carson's stupid ass.
Ben Carson is weak. This nigga is weak. You don't have no outfit. That's what I'm saying. That's why Nipsey dying was tragic. Because Nipsey was
what?
You know what I'm saying? Nipsey was definitely an alpha. Like, we don't have a bunch of alphas. Like, niggas is either cleaned out or they not really for us. You know what I'm saying? They for themselves.
There you go.
Like,
talk about a leader. Talk about a soldier. Talk about somebody we need right now at this very fucking moment in time.
Yeah.
Listen, if I had to trade for Nipsey to come back.
Yeah, hell no. I get rid of all the niggas. You can have Jay, take his bitch ass. You can have Kanye.
Who, Jay?
Yeah, you can take Jay. Jay ain't, I mean, what I'm saying, Jay from the streets, but yeah, where he stand at now.
He's one of the niggas I'm talking about. They gave his ass a little piece of the fucking pie, a little seat at the fucking table, and he's
exactly
with that shit.
Where he stand at now, he not gonna step in. Because if we're gonna talk about closest thing we have to somebody that can actually move something, Jay is that. Jay is the person that could bring leaders together. You know what I'm saying? That can really, like, you know what I'm saying, on some Michael Jackson shit. Like, he can bring people to Bob Marley shit, bring countries and leaders together and work with them, but he not gonna do that. He not gonna sit there and say, nah, our black people need this, our black people need that. He not gonna come out. If he was, he would have did it.
But check this. Somebody on Twitter has said, damn, 2020 has just been one thing after another. Like, I forget what happened in 2019. And I was thinking, the only thing that I can remember that happened in 2019 is we lost Nipsey. And it wasn't an eventful year, really. And
niggas was getting killed last year, too.
Niggas was getting killed.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this shit's been going on for a minute.
I feel that, it's
but
real. But
Nipsey trumped everything, of course.
We needed him here this year, though. With all this stuff going down, he definitely could have been the general or one of the generals.
He was one. Ain't no could have been
beyond.
He was one. He just wasn't here long enough to organize his soldiers. He was definitely a general. Like, you can even ask Tony. I was like so pro Nipsey before Nipsey was like a household name. I'm like, this is gonna be the one. He's going to be the one. Like, he the voice of the people for real. And
the people that have been in my house, they know that shit look like it. Part of my house looked like a motherfucking Nipsey shrine.
And then it was just gone. So
I 100% agree with y'all. Like, I feel like it was shit probably going on in that 2019, but we really couldn't tap in because everybody was trying to grieve Nipsey. A majority of our community was grieving Nipsey, and so it almost feels like that death took majority of my year. When in actuality, it really didn't. But we were grieving so much.
Impact people that didn't even know him. They was just, they didn't have no choice but to just be moved by it. Like I had my cousin, he was like, "Son, I didn't know who Nipsey was, but I was hurt. I was like, that's crazy."
Everyone felt that. Everyone felt that, you know, and everyone became fans. And after you're gone, to become a household name is so, I mean, it's great, but it's so unfortunate that it had to be that way.
And then you think about it, like you got Nipsey, right? Pac was a general. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Like, Pac was a general, and then he became commercialized. You know what I'm saying? Like, you let that money and you let all that shit get to your head, and it seemed like eradicate everything your parents like instilled in you, regardless to if they were like, his parents were some powerful fucking educated ass Black people. You know what I'm saying? So he grew up with that knowledge, no matter what type of circumstances he was in as far as drug addiction and everything else. He grew up with that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like, my uncle was a fucking crackhead and a drunk, but it still doesn't negate the knowledge that he gave to me when he wasn't under the influence, or even when he was. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. A truth is a truth.
Yep. And you can receive that from I mean, you can honestly get it more from the people that are out there struggling. You get the realness, you know, the grit of shit. And I think he did a really good job of creating something that is worth listening to and passing along this message, you know, like to our people, you know, all the documentaries and things that he was doing. It just sucks. It just really sucks to see someone rolling like that. You know what I mean? And I feel like, man, it's real coincidental he's not here this year. You know.
What y'all think about the praise Nick Cannon been getting? Do y'all think that?
So I saw that.
So what do y'all think about Nick Cannon? Like, they really trying to, and I feel offended. Like, they really trying to like put him in a place. Like, yeah, he gonna show the people, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Why you feel offended? I fuck with Nick Cannon.
See, I don't know.
Even though,
I don't know.
Go ahead.
I don't know if he is like. Maybe because I never fucked with him like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he quit.
Why? Why you ain't fuck with him?
I mean, I don't think he's
never did
to lead like us, but I think he's a really, really important part to our culture, especially if we talking about moving forward and having an impact that's going to change the world. Like, he definitely has that across the board, I feel like.
I think Nick has been in the mix a little bit, and so that's why people get confused. I do think he's definitely general. He's a general.
Yeah, no, I definitely
he's a
think
general.
He's a general. Because out of all everybody who owns their own, that man owns his own.
And that's true. And he does have the platform to actually touch other people that we wouldn't be able to touch. So that's true. I get that. Like, his platform is broad as fuck. It's diverse as hell.
Yeah, he reaches a lot of people, and he definitely uses that platform to say everything that needs to be said. And he also uses, you know, the things that he does own to employ other Black people that have, and that provides them an opportunity to go above and beyond. You know, whatever you do, that's a jug for niggas.
And that's
like
what I'm
that
saying.
type of
He's
platform.
Really realistically, if you look at him, I mean, from a social media point of view, he's really the only nigga that's out there on there that's really doing it for us.
That's
like
true.
Really just for us. Like, nobody can say they doing it for us like how he doing it. Yeah, Jay put on people and put on rappers and shit, but this nigga put on mad people, mad black people.
He put on nobody and made him somebody.
He really be outspoken with it. Like, he's really outspoken with just for us. You know what I'm saying? Jay don't be on that shit. He be on his blue collar, you know, oh, I'm a businessman, woo, woo, woo. But he don't be like directly, like, and that's what we want. We want somebody that's going to directly vouch for us and be like, yeah, we understand. And Nick be on that shit.
I agree. I think Nick, and we can kind of wrap everything up tonight here on that note, is that we do need generals to step up. Nick is definitely one of those. And, you know, we need more that are willing to fight the good fight and teach other people how to do that too. Like, I don't know. We need to find answers and quickly. I feel like things are rapidly approaching and we are scrambling
expeditiously because behind closed doors they planning to execute for sure. They ain't letting this shit go without some heads rolling, period. They're not going to even try to attempt to allow us to believe that we have the upper hand.
But maybe
that's a question before.
On the other side, we need some heads to roll on their side for them to understand that we're tired.
It might that's what we're leading to. But Jerry got a question.
So I just want to say, I know this is a ladies show and this is all about ladies. And
no, it's about men too. Come on, don't do that.
Well, when I say all about ladies, but I know this is
it's tailored.
Tailored woman. I want to say we talking about certain things. I want to ask y'all: are you ladies equipped and ready for anything to happen when it does happen, as far as tactics and learn how to shoot and learn how to just medic and those things that we need as ladies to do? And even if you're not, are you mentally prepared to make yourself ready for those things?
Brittany, I'll let you answer first because you have a colorful background outside of being an esthetician.
Me?
Brittany was a nurse before she was an esthetician. So when you say medically equipped, she is.
So medically equipped, yes. I'm knowledgeable of the human body and how to save a life. I also have firearms that I know how to use, and I am heavily armed, if I may say so myself. My husband and I own a pretty extensive arsenal. Our daughter is 13 and she knows how to shoot.
Yeah, that's gold, sis. I'm here for that.
So I can say that we are.
So, to answer for myself, no. Mentally, yes, I'm going to do what I can with what I have. Right. But do I have firearms in my home? No. Do I know how to shoot? Not that well. And Brittany can attest to this. I did ask my cousin, her husband Darron, to teach me how to shoot, and he did agree. He would help me out the next time I came up there. So, you know, and like I said, I've lived with her, so I'm very familiar with. I'm very safe in her home. I have no issues. But here, all I know is to work with what I have, right? To work with, you know what I'm saying, what I think to be true and what I have been taught. So I will say that my father, whether you agree with this or not, he's retired from the military. So my stepfather is retired from the military, who, you know, we're working on going to the gun range now that we're on quarantine. It's a little hard. So he is like, you know, he instilled those same things. Like, you do need to kind of learn how to shoot. Everything is kind of popping off. And, you know, being his younger daughter, I live by myself, you know what I'm saying? So he like, nah, I'm gonna have to try to teach you something, right? And I mean, my daddy taught me how to fight, so.
And Tony, y'all, honestly, Tony is green as fuck.
I have the mentality of like, I was raised different. So.
She's green as fuck. When she came to Detroit, she had kind of came into some traumatic shit that happened. Like, within like my circle. So I kind of had to teach her to be a little bit more vigilant because Tony is green as shit when it comes to.
So when it comes to like experiencing deaths and seeing it up close, I am raised from the suburbs. So when it comes to like deaths and stuff, I haven't seen very many of those things. Brawls, like full on brawls with like more than 10 people. It's not something I've seen a lot. I've seen people get jumped. I've seen people get stabbed.
Brittany over there laughing. I ain't seen that shit either, girl. I'm not here for all that crowd action, especially with Corona. I know Corona is nowhere to be.
But listen, what I was explaining to her is you don't know. These things could happen anywhere. The place that you have always been safe. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be, I'm a little bit more hyper vigilant. I can see and hear some stuff happening before it even goes down. Like we've been in the club and I'm like, hey, G, we gotta go. And she like, well, why we gotta go? It's just getting lit in here, bitch, because they about to fight and he probably gonna kill him. So let's just go. And lo and behold, it's a whole fucking brawl and we hear about it because we gotta get the fuck on. You gotta pay attention to everything. She just wasn't like that before.
Yeah, no, I will say that last year I moved to New York and that actually heightened all of my senses. So that was an experience I absolutely would never take back in my life. Like it taught me so much. I went through so much in a short amount of time. But I do think it's important to, be on your P's and Q's. Your peripheral got to be on point. You should be aware, attention to detail, and kind of pay attention to energy. And I'm always big on energy.
Body language, everything. I don't feel him. I don't care how cool you say he is. Something is off. I'm ready to go. Like, that's me.
Yeah. No, and just to kind of, touch, and close out with Jerry's question, I think that a lot of us could be more prepared, obviously. I'm a very quick learner. So there are a lot of things that, this week and this last 2 weeks have opened my eyes so much more about what would I contribute if it did get down to the nitty gritty in that way. So I guess we can all kind of take that home and sit with that tonight, and we will be back next week.
That was a good question, Jerry. Thanks.
That was a good question, Jerry. You was holding out on us.
I try to come through in the clutch.
You know what, Jerry? I gotta hear more from you on the topic of relationships. So you're gonna have to come back.
Okay.
You have a daughter, so that means you were in some type of very serious relationship. So you're definitely gonna have to come back. We're gonna have to invite Brittany back as well. She's married. Okay, I need some tips.
She said she needs some what?
I don't know what she was talking
This girl got up 4 times during the podcast, Lord.
She got somebody over there. I don't know what's going on.
She over there having, what you doing over there, Tony? We closing it out, girl. It's about midnight.
Ooh.
Some food!
I'm hungry as shit. Oh, I'm so hungry.
That's what it was. It was just food, child. I said Brittany gonna have to give us some tips so we could be married, okay? But it out on them niggas. It's just the food.
No, that's right. All right, look, y'all, and thanks for tuning in. It's unFEMiliar podcast. It's an unfamiliar territory. It's a safe space, sexy space, also, okay? And for brown. Created by and for brown girls. We hope we gave you some ghetto revelations tonight, got yourself together, and we come back and fuck with us. I appreciate Jerry and Brittany. Tony,
thank you.
And wash your fucking face before you go to sleep.
All you ladies that are made up like me tonight, y'all gotta wash your face because I'm washing my face, honey.
60 seconds, please. Thank you.
Yes. Good night, y'all.